Spoiler alert, the following podcast includes discussions on film that may potentially, intentionally or inadvertently, reveal plot twists, character traits, story details, up to and including endings that might otherwise be considered spoilers. Proceed at your own risk.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Sounds like some bad movie.
So, yeah, what's interesting is
yes?
At the end of the documentary or the trailer, it actually said something like this: "This is being made under fair use. Watch, we still get flagged for it." Although I can't upload it till I know what happens with the other two films.
That's right. So no rush.
There's no rush, but I'm so fucking curious. It's like, this is being made under fair use. It's like,
now,
interesting. And you know what else is interesting? This guy, John Schnepp, the guy that directed it, who actually did a really good job on this documentary. If you go to YouTube and you do a search for "The Death of Superman Lives: What Happened," which is the name of the documentary, his page comes up with the film where it says, just like other fucking websites, it say full movie in big capital letters, which usually you click on it and it's not the full film, and it's always somebody saying, hey, but if you really want to watch the film full movie, go to this website and get a virus first. That's basically what happens. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll watch this at work. Nothing's happening right now. I'll do it on my lunch break. So I start watching it. 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by, and there's a scene where he's interviewing Kevin Smith, and it looks like he's in his living room, and he just kind of nods his head, but because you know how Kevin Smith, he likes to talk, so he kind of makes this like little funny things, like, but I want to say, like he does that, and then finally gets a word in edgewise, and he says, Kevin, I got something to say. And then you see these two things from a closet that have like rabbit heads on it. And then the film goes into slow-mo. It goes into slow-mo with these two rabbit head people at the far end of a hallway. And it's just going, it's making that kind of noise, and the video just kind of gets closer and closer and closer. And I watched that for about 5 minutes. And I'm like, what is this pretentious bullshit? What is this? And then what you can do with YouTube is you can put your cursor over the slider and you can see kind of like a thumbnail of what's coming. He did that on purpose. He gave you 15 minutes of the movie, and the next hour and a half is that. So he's basically saying, fuck you, you can't watch this for free.
Good for him.
But the thing is, it's like, why upload it at all? Just upload 15 minutes.
That's true, too. Yeah.
But I didn't care. I ended up getting the film another way, and I watched it anyhow. Plus,
$5 says he got the idea from Kevin Smith.
Probably.
Kevin Smith thought it'd be funny because just to sidetrack. We keep talking about YouTube, how we're getting banned and stuff.
Yeah.
If you're listening to the podcast and you want to see the video version of it, you can still see us on live stream.
Oh yeah, you could tune in live, and you could watch watch what we're putting out live.
Livestream.com/Moviesucktastic.
That's right.
And we link the videos to Facebook when they come out as well. I actually was a bit behind. I just posted Mr. Bean's today.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So, but you can catch the episodes there.
You can catch it live. Yeah, you can catch it live, and then you could watch it after it's recorded as well.
Obviously, YouTube's a larger audience to capture, which is why we keep agonizing about it. But speaking of Kevin Smith, let me start off by saying this. The director of the Death of Superman documentary,
John Schnepp.
Obviously a fanboy.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I've been very harsh. I've been very hard on Kevin Smith in past episodes. Extremely.
I still like Kevin Smith. Maybe not entirely for his films, but I genuinely like him. Like if we're lucky enough to just kind of hang out with him, I know I would enjoy his company.
I don't feel that because I always feel like there's he hits a certain point where you're just doing Kevin Smith. You're not a real person. You're just doing this persona. Now, so I'm not taking anything back from what I said in the past. I have issues with him. He let me down as an artist, and there's a lot of things he's done, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
And before you continue, I think he would agree with you.
Possibly.
He said numerous times that he's not purposely, but he's.
But that's part of his self-deprecation bullshit, which is just a cover. Again, it's part of the things I hate about him. But all that aside, watching this documentary, I don't think Kevin Smith is disingenuous.
No, I don't think so either.
No, I'm just saying. Perfect example. Let me just put this right out there. He talked about this one point where he's talking with the producer John Peters, and he says that he when he asked for the screenplay, he gave me these three things: said no suit, no flying, and there has to be a giant spider.
That's right.
And then he goes to Peters, and Peters is like, "Oh, I never said that. That's wrong." Wrong.
No, I believe Kevin Smith.
I believe Kevin Smith. 100%. Now, funny thing is, I'm halfway through this documentary, and like, wait a minute. I have a book on this. I forget what I have, because you've seen the Wilson Library.
Oh, of course.
I've been depleting it a bit, but it's huge. I went down and I grabbed this. I forgot it was on my bookshelf. It's called Hit and Run.
Oh, okay.
And it's about John Peters and Peter Guber and how they took Sony for a ride in Hollywood. And I went back and I reread some of it and read some high points. It was made before this whole thing happened. This actually was written and published when they were just working on Superman Lives.
Okay.
So it was like still in like the early stages of pre-production. None of this fiasco was worth putting in the book because it hadn't happened yet. However, Batman stuff's in here, his dealings with Tim Burton, and stuff on John Peters alone. Now, from the documentary, what's your take on John Peters?
My take on him is that he can be a big fucking prick when he has to be. If you're not doing business with him, he's probably a pretty nice guy. But if you are doing business with him, you have to know what you're in for. That's what I gather from him.
Okay. My gathering is that he is Trump, but a little bit smarter. He is now.
Yeah, especially in the documentary where Kevin Smith, he says, I had to go to his house and read him my script because he requested that. And then Schnepp brings it up to him. He goes, yeah, I have everyone do that. He goes, right. I sit on my couch, I relax, I look at the ceiling. He does the whole movie, the index finger thumb thing.
Yeah.
So he could frame it out. He goes, I have everyone read me the script so I can see the movie. I'm a very visual person.
He hasn't been reading the screenplays to him.
It's huge. I'm a very visual person. I have the best visuals.
Yeah, he said, I'm not a big reader. I'm a visual person. What that means is he's a fucking illiterate.
Yeah.
And he's notoriously illiterate. It's brought up in this book repeatedly.
Really?
He is a hairdresser that got into the business through Barbra Streisand. First, he became a music producer for her. Then he became a movie producer. He is a huge douche, aggressive. Remember that part where he was notoriously violent with people.
Yeah, he put someone said one of the production crew or special effects crew, he put him in a headlock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't deny it.
No, because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
This guy, that whole part.
Real quick, they scan. They're in his house and they scan over all of these books. I guess they're scripts or they're storyboards or a combination of a little everything, of all the films that he's done, and Die Laughing is in the list.
I didn't know that.
He produced Die Laughing, and I saw that and I'm like, oh my god, there's a book for it and everything. I was like, I have to bring this up during the show.
I need that book.
There's probably only one made, just like Jodorowsky's Dune book. There's only 2 in existence.
Yeah, he's a huge asshole. Just and just one of those guys that gets through everything. He's like a businessman, 100%. He's Trump. He's just a loudmouth idiot who knows how to pressure people and to rip people off. And that's what he and Gruber did to Sony, basically. As producers, they were notorious for overspending, just huge fucking embezzler. I mean, you can call it embezzling, but it's built into the industry. It's not really embezzling. It's how you work it. You keep all the money for yourself and dick over everybody else. It's only embezzling if you do it illegally. This is all above board. It's Hollywood,
right?
And like that one part in the documentary where the documentarian brings it up with him about the headlock thing. He's like, I want to put that kind of he says shit like that. I want to bring that. I've been in 500 fights.
Yeah,
and I want to bring that. I want to bring that excitement in here. Having to like taste someone else's blood. It's like, what a douche.
He's mentioned that a couple of times in the documentary of how many fights he's been into, and then when he talks to Kevin Smith, he goes, "Yeah, I need a spider in there, like a deadly one." And then he goes, "We can't call it a spider, so they called it a Thangarian snare beast." And he liked that, and because he said, in the animal kingdom, the spider is like the deadliest of all the of that, the arachnid family or whatever. Just some bullshit. Yeah, and then later on, he says polar bear. He says the same thing about polar bear. That it's the deadliest.
Yeah, they're the deadliest.
And then he says like a 2,000-3,000 pound polar. It's like polar bears don't get that fucking big. 2,000 pounds, 3,000 pounds.
And, like
I mean, I'll give you 800 pounds, maybe even 1,000, but 2,000, 3,000 pounds? No, it's not happening.
And I gotta give Kevin Smith that credit for that too, because he talk about that thing. He's like, yeah, he should, how come there's no fighting at the Fortress of Solitude? Maybe he should fight his bodyguards. It's like, Superman, why does he have bodyguards?
It's this Fortress of Solitude. He's alone.
And it's Solitude. There's nobody there. It's like that. That's why. That's the whole point of it. What are you talking about?
And it was like, well, then on his trip to the Fortress of Solitude, Brainiac's got to kill something. So they wrote in that he's killing a polar bear.
But I totally believe 100% Kevin Smith's exchanges with all that.
Oh yeah.
And also, I've been very hard on Tim Burton in past episodes too.
Yeah.
And I stand by it because he exemplifies why I hate him in his fucking.
Well, and you know what too? One of the things that and I don't know if it was kept in there to kind of shit on Burton a little bit, but when they're doing all of the footage. Because up until this documentary, the only thing you ever saw was that shitty Polaroid of Nicolas Cage in the Superman outfit that looks terrible. And then later on in the documentary, they point out that the picture that's still shot, it was like he was mid-blink. Because they took another picture, John Schnepp took another still from that exact same sequence, and he looked pretty decent in the Superman outfit.
Yeah.
It didn't look that bad. It didn't look as bad as that Polaroid. That Polaroid looked really horrendous. But, shit, I lost track of where I was going with that.
I was saying that I've shit on Tim Burton in the past.
Oh yes, thank you. So, basically, they were in the hotel room or wherever they fucking were, and Nicolas Cage is in full outfit, or he has like the Clark Kent suit with the Mickey Mouse shirt on there and like that. And then he's got the Superman outfit, and Tim Burton, very snidely, says, "Oh, you look like one of those guys that goes to the superhero conventions, but in a bad way.
Yeah,
like you look like one of those nerdy fucks, like one of those people." And then everyone in the room just starts laughing. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah, this is Mr. I'm an artist and no one understands me. I hate him. I hate him. uh, uh, every other film he does is brilliant, but I still fucking hate him. But yeah, he pulls that shit, and where was I going with it? Yeah, but when he's interviewing Tim Burton, and like the fact that the minute he reads Kevin Smith's script, it's like, nah, no, you're done with it.
Yeah,
And
they
I like
basically they took him off of they took him
And Kevin
off.
Smith recommended, said you should get Tim Burton because he does he's an artist, and then he gets Tim Burton's like, yeah, I don't like this shit.
And then he gets Wesley, what was his name? Wesley Strick or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name. It was Wesley something. He was the second screenwriter.
Right.
Wesley Strick. I was close. Strick.
And Gripes was the third one. Wasn't it Gripey or something like that?
It was Dan Gilroy.
Gilroy. That's what I meant.
Which is ironic because right before this film was made, he had done Nightcrawler, which we fucking loved.
Oh no, great film.
And he wrote and directed that, and it was one of those things where it's like it took him really long to get to a point of where he probably is making the stuff he wanted to make.
Well, don't forget, you've got 3 screenwriters, and all 3 of them, I give all 3 of them credit for working with Tim Burton and John fucking Peters. Because here you've got Mr. He's got to fight polar bears or ninjas or a giant spider. And Mr. Artists are like aliens, and no one understands people. And they're, and that's what I see as Superman, is someone who's like alienated like me, because I've always felt like an alien since I was a child, because all artists are. Shut the fuck up. And fucking, they didn't even bring up Tim Burton did Batman Returns.
They did bring it up.
I know, as I said, they even bring it up.
Yeah, and the thing is, he didn't even want to do Batman Returns, and in this documentary, I think it was Wesley Strick, he said, well, why do you want to do a second Batman film?
Yeah.
And he said, well, it's because...
Learned all this stuff from the first one.
Learned all this stuff from the first film, and I wanted to make another one so that I can, hone that and utilize that, and kind of fix all of my mistakes.
Yeah, I guess what he learned is that he just wanted to do what he wanted to do. That's what it really was. Is because when he came in on Batman, he wanted to do Sam Hamm's script, and John Peters was rewriting shit. The whole end of the first Batman film was kind of improvised last minute by Peters, because he's a colossal douche. Yeah. So all it was Tim Burton say, okay, now I want to do one where I can actually control it. And look, guess what happened? It's even shittier.
Yeah. And it's funny. That's not the first time I've heard a director say, "Hey, I've made this first film, or this, make this movie, and by the time I was done with it, I learned how to do it, and I want to do another one." You know what other director said that?
No.
Well, here's the thing. I believe... No, I'm going to tell you.
Tease me.
I believe this director is actually going to do it, and actually do it even better. And that's Quentin Tarantino saying, after he made Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, that everything he learned on how to make that style of film, the kung fu, karate type film, that kind of action, when he was done with that, he learned everything. By the time he was done, he goes, you know what, I want to make another one, because now I really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I believe he'll do it, and I believe he'll do it well, whereas I don't believe Tim Burton, and obviously it didn't work out because Batman Returns was way shittier.
Complete shit. Thank you. Oh.
Never a fan of Batman Returns.
No. It's like, unlike Jodorowsky's Dune, here you have something that was started by a producer.
Right.
A producer who's illiterate, thinks he has vision. He's one of these producers that claims he did everything. Like on Batman, after Batman came out, if you interviewed him or you talked to him, he wrote, directed, and starred in it.
Yeah.
It's like he's one of these producers that thinks he. It's like that one book on the making of Natural Born Killers by the producer.
Oh, yeah.
And
I don't remember the name of it.
I have it, and she I'm gonna post that on Facebook too because I love that book. And she, like, by the end of the book, she's like, yeah, if I wasn't involved in this film, it would have been complete shit. I told him how to edit it. I told him what music to put in it. I told him what stars. My male co-producer, he's an idiot. All men are idiots. It's fucking horrible. It's like one of those mentalities. Although, unlike Peters, she's a woman, so she didn't end up running fucking Sony or whatever. Just complete shit. And he's one of those people. So he's dragging these real people in, writers and artists, and it's like, design this, design that, write this, write that.
Holy shit! I never fucking noticed that. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
John Peters.
I was rambling at that point.
John Peters produced Zack Snyder's Man of Steel.
Yeah. Because
he owns Superman.
Right.
Okay, because he bought it from Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
But they have a shot. They have a shot of the fucking Fortress of Solitude, and there's a shot of a polar bear bouncing from like iceberg or like ice to ice, and then it pans up to Fortress of Solitude. So Snyder must have put it in there for Peters and said, yeah, this is all you're getting. Or he knew like the history of it, like it's either one or two things. He either did it for Peters and it's like, this is all you're fucking getting, or he knew like the history of it, and he's like, I gotta put it in there. It's fucking hilarious. And like now after seeing this documentary, because I didn't know about it till this documentary, it's fucking hilarious. And real quick, I know we're talking about the death of Superman Lives.
Take your time.
Okay. Did you hear about Zack Snyder getting pulled off of... He didn't get pulled off of, but he left Justice League?
No.
His daughter committed suicide in March. 20 years old. She committed suicide, and Justice League is almost finished. And him and Joss Whedon have been going back and forth, doing some fixes to the script, and they're doing some reshoots and whatnot. But he's got Whedon in on the process because they're close, and he trusts Joss Whedon obviously with the Marvel universe. So he brought Joss Whedon in to kind of help a little bit in certain areas. Then his daughter committed suicide, and now Joss Whedon is finishing Justice League.
Oh.
So Zack Snyder has...
When you say finishing, we're talking post-production now, right?
We're talking... Well, here's the thing. A lot of people were saying, oh, yeah, finally, Joss Whedon, we're going to get a great Justice League. And a lot of fucking real pieces of shit were saying some pretty nasty fucking things about, Snyder's daughter committing suicide. And it's like, oh, maybe finally we'll get a good Justice League. And one other... I read one comment before I almost threw up, and he said, God saw, Batman versus Superman and, made this happen. Obviously joking, but it's like, what kind of a piece of shit are you? Like, now, really?
Here's where I defend Kevin Smith again.
Okay.
Because I criticize him for doing Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, where the whole plot is getting back, attacking their own critics.
Right.
For shit talking. And then he had his own little nervous breakdown, which I always make fun of, because his fan base turned against him. But let's be clear. Fans are fucking assholes.
Oh, yeah.
Complete assholes.
Totally.
And so, like, I even though I criticize him for both of those things, I understand. Yeah. I get it. They are, just don't listen to your fucking fans. And these people are just complete fuck, and then they do podcasts and talk shit about movies. What the fuck's your problem? Shut up.
Yeah. So
that's my self-aware moment there, just to let you know I know what I'm saying.
There you go. So Joss Whedon has been involved with Justice League for a decent portion of the movie. He was brought in, I think about 3/4 of the way, and they're pretty much done with it. But they're doing reshoots and they're tightening it up. And Joss Whedon is, he's in charge of all of that now. So I don't think that when the film comes out, it's going to say directed by Joss Whedon. or I don't think it's going to say directed by Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon. I think it's still going to say directed by Zack Snyder, and there's going to be a special credit or thank you in some way to Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he'll get
yeah.
like an executive producer credit or a writing credit, or he'll get something where he's going to be, notarized by it. But
And they'll have to because of the guild. I mean, they'll make him get some kind of credit.
Yeah.
But he won't try to take credit away. And you know what? All these whiny bitches that are talking about him ruining Justice League, these are the same fucking bastards who shit talked Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Which was a great thankfully, because what everybody forgot about Superman Returns.
Yeah, right.
How shitty that was.
Yeah.
What was his name? What's his name?
Bryan Singer. That was brought up in this documentary too.
Yeah, Bryan fucking Singer. Isn't it? Singer would go around saying, "Yeah, we're not making this Superman." So yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're just remaking.
He would take the picture of Nicolas Cage in the outfit, and every time anyone would have any kind of questions about what he was doing, he'd pull out that picture and go, "We're not making this Superman.
Right,
That's not what we're making."
What he should have done after that was pull out a picture of Christopher Reeves and say, "We're making this one again because I have no fucking ideas in my head."
That's right. And then when Zack Snyder comes and he brings his vision of Superman and fucking nails it. You don't have Lex Luthor as the villain. You have, yes, they use Zod, but it's a new imagining, whatever you want to call it, of that character.
Reimagining, yeah.
Reimagining. Thank you for correcting me.
It's a reboot.
It fucking works.
It's a sequel / reboot, but only along the way that. No, it is a reboot. I'm sorry, it is a reboot. It's a reboot, but a reboot where they didn't try to reinvent everything. They just modernized it a bit and made it a bit more adult and more realistic.
Yeah.
Which is why everybody freaked out. Well, people died at the end. Well, no shit. That's going to happen.
Good.
How many people died when Doomsday killed Superman? I'm sure there were a lot. We didn't talk about it because we were too busy dealing with that shit.
Yeah.
But
no. One of the things that they did mention in Batman.
No, I'm
Superman,
talking about the comic book.
Oh, the comic. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Batman vs Superman. Thankfully, the entire area has been it's the weekend, so no one's there, and everything's been evacuated. Thank you. Yeah, we heard you. All right.
Because in Man of Steel, they were talking about how many people died and how many billions of dollars worth of damage.
But again,
just for the two of them to fight.
And we've talked about that. That's why Batman vs Superman is so fucking brilliant in the beginning, because they put Batman in the position of all those fucking loser asshole viewers that were like, "Oh, people are dying," and Batman's like, "Oh shit, people are dying."
Yeah, they bookend.
They use that concern.
They bookend Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. They bookend.
No, that's not bookend. They overlap it.
Well, it's kind of bookended because the way the first film ends with the fight, that's how Batman vs Superman starts.
Right, but that's not how bookends work. Bookends are at the beginning and the end.
You're right. You're right.
I'm sorry, I'm nitpicking.
No. But you're right.
I already gave up to you twice. I'm going to hold my ground on the bookend thing.
No, you're right. But you're right. So overlap is what I meant to say.
I know.
Well, it is not what I meant to say. I didn't mean to say bookend, but
that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. And we've mentioned this when we reviewed Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
It was fucking brilliant how they show Batman on the ground, or Bruce Wayne on the ground, looking up at the end of Man of Steel, at the beginning of Batman v Superman. Because that's what you're seeing in the beginning of Batman v Superman. You're seeing the end of Man of Steel, that end sequence, but you see it from the ground. And and just the line, man is introduced. No, it's not man. Mankind is first introduced to the Superman. Perfect. You couldn't ask for it to be written any more perfectly. I'm sure I still got it wrong. I'm sure that's not exactly how it is.
That's why I love this fanboy documentary too, is because he puts those little things in, like, Bryan Singer would show it and say, "Yeah, we're not doing this. Everybody shut up now." So because guess which film is remembered more, the one you made or the one that didn't happen?
Right. Guess.
Because yours is the only one that nobody wants to recall.
Yeah.
It's just.
And here's the thing, Tim Burton. Unlike Jodorowsky's Dune, Tim Burton's Superman Lives will realistically never happen because DC has now jumped into
Oh no, yeah.
the DC universe game like Marvel has done with their universe. So they're never just going to, like, you know, even with what has happened with Snyder, where he decided to step back and be with his family. I do believe he'll end up directing Justice League 2. Because I don't believe Joss Whedon has the fucking time to direct both the Avengers, you know, and Justice League. I don't believe he's not J.J. Abrams, where he overlapped doing Star Wars and Star Trek.
Right.
He just doesn't have that kind of time.
Now,
Joss Whedon is, if I'm not mistaken, in the middle of doing Infinity. He just finished the Infinity Wars Part 1. So he's kind of like on a break right now before they start filming Infinity Wars Part 2. That's the only reason why I believe that he's able to work on Justice League. He's not going to be available for Justice League 2.
No.
I do believe Snyder will come back and do that.
Now, as Tim Burton again, I will say that if Superman Lives had been made, just like the first Batman, I don't think in retrospect it would be great. I don't think the first Batman, the Tim Burton's Batman, was a great film. But I think it would have done well and would still be remembered today, just like Batman's. Now, here's just going back a bit. Again, if you haven't read Hit and Run, pick it up for a quick read. There's about 20 pages or so in the Batman movie.
That's cool.
John Peters, he's the reason that Michael Keaton was Batman.
Was he the reason? Not
He
Tim
was
Burton,
the reason.
even though
No.
Tim Burton worked with him on Beetlejuice?
No, because Peters worked with him.
Well,
and
he
Peters...
He does. They do mention that in the documentary. I just assumed that Tim Burton was like, yeah, sure, I love Michael Keaton.
Peters was the driving force behind Michael Keaton and behind Jack Nicholson.
Well, I could see Nicholson. They needed a huge name, and obviously Nicholson's a very good actor. But Michael Keaton, they mentioned in the documentary how even though the internet wasn't around, it was like it was. That's how much backlash Keaton had gotten for being Bruce Wayne / Batman.
Metropolis Comics, we had a giant poster in the window for people to sign the petition being sent to keep Michael Keaton from playing Batman.
No shit.
I remember it was a huge deal. There were writing campaigns. Don't do this to Batman, because this was the first Batman big movie.
Right, and then when
they
did the film, and it worked, people kind of shut up about it.
This is because everyone went to see it 5 times.
Yep.
This is like X-Men. I think X-Men coming out was a huge fucking deal. There had never been an X-Men film before of any kind. There had never been really, as long as you don't count classic Batman, Adam West, there had never been a Batman movie.
That's right.
So no one wanted it. And by the way, not only was John Peters the reason behind Michael Keaton and John Nicholson, but he also was fucking Kim Basinger throughout the production of the film.
Oh, was he really?
After he assaulted her boyfriend when he first met them.
Mine.
Yeah. It was not a secret. She was sleeping with him during the entire production.
Wow.
Yeah. And then she went on to Spike Lee. So there's Kim Basinger for you.
Huh. It's interesting. I didn't
Remember,
know.
that's what she.
I didn't know she was fucking her.
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't until I read Hit and Run. I'm like, holy shit! I think I have a book on this. Like, oh, I do. I literally go back and like.
Yeah.
It amuses me. I forget what I have.
It amuses me.
It amuses me. Yes. But yeah. Again, Tim Burton on this just. He was kind of ahead of his time with what he wanted to do, but in typical Tim Burton fashion, when it comes to this comic book shit, he was ahead of his time, but still couldn't get past the fucking 50s, and his obsession with artists being aliens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's Tim Burton for you.
I someday have to write that article or essay or whatever you want about how I used to love, when I was a teenager, I loved Edward Scissorhands, and as an adult, I fucking hate Edward Scissorhands.
I never liked Edward Scissorhands. I always just saw it as this film that was there, and I was never really a fan of.
You know why? Because I bought into Tim Burton's whole, the artist is isolated and the artist is, the alien. I bought into that with Edward Scissorhands when I was a kid. And then as an adult, I rewatched it. It's like, this guy's so far up his own fucking ass, it's not even funny. Surprised he and Clive Barker haven't gotten together to do something.
Isn't Clive Barker dead? Or almost?
What?
Doesn't Clive Barker... Well, he's probably not dead, but isn't Clive Barker, like, really ill?
I don't know. I haven't been up on the Clive Barker stuff since
Hellraiser. I thought I read Clive... Yeah, I thought I read Clive Barker has AIDS, actually.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Why?
That wouldn't surprise me.
Why would it surprise you?
It would not surprise me in the least.
Anyway.
I'm all right.
I thought he was like in some crazy legal battle with his former lover, and because he gave his lover AIDS or some shit like that, or the other way around.
Hang on, let me put up Clive Barker in the news because I have not heard anything about this. Rawhead Rex getting a 4K restoration on Blu-ray.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
4K? That could actually be done in 4 fucking K?
I'm surprised. I'm more surprised about that than hearing that he has AIDS.
There's no... Okay, I love me some Rawhead Rex. And all I have is a VHS copy of that.
Oh, here it is.
That's the quality of copy I have. It went... So you're telling me it's bypassing DVD and Blu-ray to 4K Blu-ray right from fucking VHS quality. And I have the director's cut.
Okay, I'm like out of the horror scene, so I hadn't heard anything about this. But yeah, I just found it on TMZ. Go figure. Victorious in cousin sex HIV lawsuit. This is dated 12/28/2012. So I missed this.
Holy shit!
That's 4 years ago. Okay.
5.
He's
almost 5.
All right, I'll give you that.
4.5.
No, I won't. It's fucking
4.5. 4.5.
4.5. No, it's 4 or 5. We had this discussion before with your son.
What?
But yeah,
that's a ridiculous conversation, by the way.
I know it is.
I'm not saying he's 56 months old. Okay, I'm not saying that. He's 4.5.
I know it's a ridiculous conversation, but I still stand.
And I'm not saying that he's 6 years and 11 months old because he's got a birthday next week. But
what is he now?
He's 6.
Thank you. Barker's ex-boyfriend sued the writer in June, 2012, claiming Barker gave him HIV in '96, then kicked him out on the street. He alleged that he got HIV from having sex with his cousin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was accusing him of having sex with his cousin and catching AIDS before giving it to him. I was unaware of all of that. I have not been paying attention. Yeah, but no, hey, Rawhead Rex, great. I was more shocked to hear that the girl from Clerks died.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
and I believe she was married to the guy that played Randall, or they were together at one point, or they could still be together.
Something like that. It was very, well, they were like hiring girlfriends to be in the movie. What do you want?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Clive Barker having AIDS, that doesn't surprise me in the least. It's a horrible thing to say, and it's not.
It is.
All I have to say is rewatching Hellblazer. Not Hellblazer. Fucking.
Ghost Rider.
No, we're talking Clive Barker.
Hellraiser.
Right? No. Nightbreed.
I was gonna go Nightbreed, but it sounded nothing like Hellraiser because you said Hellblazer.
That was wrong. Nightbreed. Rewatching Nightbreed, I think one of the things that occurred to me is he probably has AIDS by now.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I just.
Had you said something like Nightblazer, I would have been like, okay, he means Nightbreed.
Yeah, you're still harping on that part. I got you.
A little bit.
Didn't say I wish he had AIDS. I was just saying he probably does.
Oh my god!
I'm not. I wish he didn't. I was a big Clive Barker fan in the early days.
Yeah, you made people go see Hellraiser too,
and apologized afterwards.
Still apologizing for it.
I still am. Yes.
You mentioned it very recently on the show.
And if anybody's listening that I dragged to see Hellraiser 2, once again, I don't know how long I can keep saying I'm sorry.
I was
No.
not. I was not one of those people that you.
You were
dragged.
not.
Yeah.
No, otherwise you'd still be demanding apologies.
Probably. Well, you dragged us to all go see the Crow sequel.
No, I didn't drag us. Everybody wanted to see that. That was
No,
not me.
everybody knew that was going to blow.
Well, but we were hopeful.
Yeah.
It wasn't like no Hellraiser. I was like, tell everybody, come on, we got to see this. Trust me, it'll be great. I remember I was almost physically forced. I drove. I was physically forcing people into my Hyundai to drive out and watch Hellraiser 2. This is gonna be great.
Bulletproof Hyundai.
Yep.
With my favorite bumper sticker was the mean people suck, but you cut off the mean, so it just said people suck.
That's right.
Loved it.
My favorite was still, if you don't like my driving, call 1-800-RACER-X. Because no one got it. So
no one got it. Tim Burton, you hate him.
Burton. Yeah, Tim Burton, hate him. But yeah, so I can see him. That's another one where in the past I was like, well, he probably just didn't work well with Tim Burton. But the minute I watched this, I was like, yeah, 100% Tim Burton has read the screenplay. I totally believe Kevin Smith on that. There's no reason not to believe him. It's just yeah. No. Oh no. He's like, so I still say, oh no, you're done.
and I bet as a comic book fan, I'm sure we can get the draft, Kevin Smith's draft, to be completely honest.
I read it. I read it when it came out.
Oh, okay. As a comic book fan, a big comic book fan, or a big DC comic book fan that Kevin Smith is, I bet it was fine. I probably needed to be cleaned up a little bit, but I bet it was fine.
Even for me, when I read it, it was too comic booky.
It was too much.
Well, he was doing what they're doing now, and they mentioned this in the documentary. He had Deadpool and not Deadpool, Deadshot. He had Deadshot in there. He had all these other characters, DC comic book characters in there, and they weren't doing that back then.
Right.
You didn't have, because no one knew who these people
were.
You
no crossover whatsoever.
Right. Well, not even crossover. They weren't in anything, and there was. You would have to give backstory on all these characters, producers like fucking illiterate Peters don't even know who these people are. It's like, well, So you're introducing 20 characters that no one knows. That's why the way they're doing it now with the Marvel universe and with the DC universe to a lesser extent is that they're doing all these individual origin story films. So great, now we can have 5 of them in one film.
Right, yeah.
And we can explain the origins of 2 of them, 3 of them we already know. Bam. I mean, but again, Kevin Smith's script was along the lines of what we're doing now. He was ahead of his time, but even when I read it then, I was like, this is not getting made. Because specifically of that. I mean, because look at the shit that was coming out then. And even when they did, even though like Schumacher's Batman had like 3 villains at once, these are villains.
Yeah. And
they're pretty stock villains too, except at the very end. So again, like all the artists involved in this, it had nothing to do with them. It had to do with the producers just being fucking idiots and demanding all this shit. And then when the budget comes back, this budget's too big. So, I guess we shouldn't have demanded all this shit. But they don't say that. They just say, we have to change the script. We have to, they want this, they want that. And then of course the studio has all these bombs in a row. He's like, we're not dumping money.
Because they said that Superman Lives, and Kevin Smith chose that title, which stuck because it was supposed to be called.
The original script was
Superman Reborn. Yeah, Reborn. So, they said that he said he always thought Fletch Lives was kind of cool, so he's like, I'm going to do Superman Lives.
That's the one thing I wish he hadn't said. That's the only part I was like, dude, shut up.
Because he said, I always loved Fletch Lives. I thought that was badass. So I said, you know what? Superman Lives sounds badass.
Did you know at one point he was Kevin Smith was slated to do more Fletch movies?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, they were going to reboot. I don't even know what they were considering a reboot at the time, but they were going to reboot it and do a whole based on the novels. So it was going to be a bit grittier, less goofy.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that.
Yeah, I haven't read all of the Fletch novels. I read, I think, a third of them or half of them. But that would happen. That would happen now as like a miniseries.
Yeah.
Or a series. I can see them doing that now. Fletch the TV show. on like cable or something, or Bravo or whatever, whoever the fuck's doing them. But I mean, yeah, I mean they're doing Hap and Leonard, and all these other books are getting, The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, wow.
That was another one. I told Holly, The Handmaid's Tale. Says, no, it's Handmaidens.
Handmaidens.
It's like, what? It's The Handmaid's Tale. Says, no, the name of the book's Handmaids. Says, no, it's Handmaidens. No, it's Handmaidens.
No.
Like, that doesn't make sense because it's a handmaiden. Why would they call it a handmaid?
No, Peter, no.
I know where she's coming from, and she makes sense,
Yeah.
but she's still wrong.
Yes,
So I'm like,
that's
no,
right.
No, it's handmaids. It's like, well, it should be handmaidens. And no.
It's him.
Oh, dude, I gotta tell you real quick. It's totally off topic.
Okay.
We've been watching these forensic TV shows, like 90s forensic TV shows
Right.
on Netflix. Fucking hilarious. Nothing better than like making fun of like death forensics shows, and then in every other episode of someone killing their wife or husband, are like, yeah, no, I'd get away with it. And but she found a new one like on occultist crimes,
Oh,
which we
wow.
know there's no such fucking thing. And she's like, "Oh, Sky, you got to see this one." We were just watching it before the show, and the name of it is Satan. Because the one girl's name is Natasha, and P.S. in the real life they were goths, and there was no satanic thing at all. They were just a bunch of kids that killed somebody to steal their van.
Oh,
That's
okay,
it.
got
That's it. But there's like, there was rumors that they were drinking each other's bloods to gain strength, and the one woman, like older lady, you can tell, either partially inbred, illiterate, or both, and she was a district attorney's assistant, so that goes a long way. But it was in Tennessee. And but she's like saying, "Oh, yeah, and also like this like retired cop, and these cops like, yeah, all those kids were into Satanism. Sure, they were, Sheriff. Yes, they definitely were. And the big thing is that, yeah, she would spell her name backwards because Natasha spelled backwards is Satan. And it's fucking great.
Now, you know that there is a channel, a cable channel, well, you might not get it, but it's called ID, Investigation Discovery.
I do know that channel. I've watched it at your house, and I probably don't get it since we don't have cable.
Okay. All they show on that is exactly what you're watching. I basically call it True Crime, the channel.
Oh, it is. It's great. I've watched.
Yeah, I love it.
I watched that channel in hotel rooms at 2 a.m. when I've been like traveling for work. It's like, this is the only thing I want to watch because it's so stupid.
Yeah, the reenactments are hilarious.
What they should do, and if I had the wherewithal to start my own production company, I'd do it right now. But I don't. I'm too lazy for this shit. But they need to get like these old ones that like copyright, no one wants them anymore. Buy them for a song, and play all the audio exactly as is, all the things, but all the reenactments have like improv comedians do the reenactments.
Almost like drunk history.
Yeah, but not like, except definitely like drunk history, but except just keep the audio, keep the actual interviews. But then all the other stuff they put in between, all the stock footage and the slides and the fake stuff, all that stuff, just improv the shit out of that, or get comedians to script whatever. But so it's like semi legit, but it's not.
I want to say that they are doing something like that. It might not be for like ID type TV shows, but I want to say your concept is actually being worked out to be done right now for something.
Then I want to see it. Please point me in the right direction because that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
How do you watch these things and not just like make fun of them nonstop?
Exactly.
Oh, man.
So anyway, to kind of end on the death of Superman Lives.
Oh, real briefly, let's talk about Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
Interesting choice.
Very interesting choice. One of the biggest actors at the time. Really just came off of. He won an Oscar, Con Air. Everything he was doing was basically a hit at that point. The Rock. I mean, all of this stuff. He was a can't miss kind of actor at that time.
He was an A-list actor.
Yeah, at that time, you really couldn't miss if you had him in your movie. And that's obviously why he was buying, dinosaur bones. It was spending money, and that's why he's making all of these movies now, because he was in such horrible debt. But back then, he was like your go-to. He was a no-brainer. I don't know if he would have been a good Superman. He would have been an interesting Superman.
He would have.
I don't know if he would have been a good one, but definitely interesting. It probably would have been a darker Superman, which is what any Superman fan was clamoring for. Even though we grew up with the Christopher Reeve...
Until we got Man of Steel, and suddenly it's too dark.
Yeah, fuck that.
And I know if you go back, I was complaining about some of these superhero films being too dark, but that's in general. Wasn't specifically Man of Steel.
Right. So it would have been different. I probably would have been okay with it. Looking back now, I probably still would be okay with him being Superman, even though I feel that he might not, still even now, not have been the right choice. But I still would have found it interesting, compelling enough anyway.
Like I said, it wouldn't have been a great film, but it would have remained in everybody's memory and would have remained a part of the mythos. Again, unlike Snyder's Mr. Not Snyder, Singer.
So Bryan Singer. Yeah,
Mr. Singer's snide little, we're not going to be like this. Like, no, you're not. You're going to be forgotten.
Yeah,
because you're a fucking hack.
That's why he went back to doing X-Men films.
Yeah, because he was so good at that.
I'm so happy he didn't touch Logan, though. Have you seen that yet?
I've been waiting for the right moment because I want to be in the right frame of mind.
They were not fucking around with that movie.
I've been holding off because every time I want to go see it, I was like, I don't know if I'm. I want to make sure I'm like focused because I really want to. No,
I want you to want to be focused to watch that film. You gotta be in the right frame of mind. You gotta want to watch it because they seriously did not fuck around with that movie. Now, when you watch that movie, you get to hear, swear words, fuck, motherfucker, all that stuff. And your instinct might, like I was for like a split second, might be like, okay, they're doing that to get that R rating. But then that goes away very quickly. Because as you watch the film, you're like, no, this feels right. It feels right. Hearing Logan, Wolverine say, fuck you, or go fuck yourself, or what the fuck, or whatever he's saying, it works. It feels the way it should be. It just feels right. They did not fuck around with this movie. They did not. And when you watch it, I either want to review it, or at the very least, I just want to talk about it.
Sure. Two quick things about Death of Superman that stuck with me. Yeah. One, the fact that this asshole, John Peters, who would bring his children to the production.
Oh yeah, they did mention that in the documentary.
When they're describing that, I'm like, that's a fucking Trump move if I've ever heard one.
Because kids are honest. It's like, you know what, you're making a potentially at the time it would have been a $200 to $300 million movie.
Hey, to be fair, they could read.
Yeah.
Now, what pissed me off about him the most was when they were interviewing that one artist that they made that skull ship. And he's right. I don't know where it is now, probably in Peter's office. And then you have a clip with the director in Peter's office showing the glass case with it, like, hey, we found it.
It's here. It's like,
so there you go. Here's this asshole with no fucking imagination or creativity at all. Can't even fucking read yet. And he hires people to make shit for him and then picks what he likes. And now he's got this thing in a glass case like he created it. He didn't do shit. He didn't do a fucking thing. That's what pissed me off. And the other thing I loved the most was that part where Tim Burton's making fun of the costumes from the first Superman with Jor-El. Says, I kept waiting for Jor-El to blow up like a popcorn.
Because he looked like Jiffy Pop.
The tinfoil, and I'm like, that's kind of funny. Can we cut back to that Catwoman costume from your second movie, you fucking hack cocksucker? that body length cartoonish costume that she made out of a mini skirt and a jacket. You fuck. I gotta hate him. That's all. Those two I thought both of those were very ironic and kind of explained why this film didn't happen. It had nothing to do with the screenwriters or the people that created the universe that these people couldn't fucking get done.
Yeah.
That's all. Polar bears. What the fuck? Yeah, Kevin, maybe I'll watch Clerks 2 now because Kevin Smith won me back on this one. It's like, yeah, he's right.
Oh, you know what else I loved before we kind of end the show because we're going long tonight?
Yeah.
Well, we did review 2 documentaries.
Yes, we did.
But one of the things I really liked was near the end of the documentary, it's like one of the last things that they talk about is Kevin Smith. They go back to him and they say, after they announced Warner Brothers, because they had bomb after bomb after bomb, they literally had like 8 to 10 bombs in a row. And they said, listen, we have no faith. We just can't go and put $200-300 million in the Superman Lives. We're not going to do it. So Warner Brothers said, yeah, we're not doing it. We can't. And they basically took all of that money and they put it in Wild Wild West,
which had his giant fucking spider in it.
With Kevin Smith was talking about, and it had Will Smith and Kenneth Branagh, and they're talking to Kevin Smith, and he goes, I went to go see Wild Wild West, and at the end of it, they had this giant mechanical spider just running around terrorizing everything. And then he saw the credits and he saw John Peters' name. He goes, that motherfucker got his giant spider. I just thought that was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. Because that motherfucker got his giant spider. And he got some of that fucking polar bear in Man of Steel in a Superman movie at the Fortress of Solitude. I would love to talk to Snyder or find out in some way that he was like, yeah, I heard all about that. I thought it was fucking hilarious, so I just threw it in there. Just for a split second. Or John Peters like, you got to put like a polar bear or something at the Fortress of Solitude. Or he pitched him the same idea. He's like, you got to have like a fight or something at the Fortress of Solitude with like a polar bear. And Snyder's like, this fucking guy's nuts. And he threw it in there. He's like, yeah, here's your polar bear, asshole.
I just can't believe this motherfucker's still working.
It's Peters?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's producing Bradley Cooper's version of A Star Is Born.
Yeah. By the way,
now.
also, and I know we glossed over it, but just to clarify, he also produced Superman Returns.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
What's his resume? Let's go over that super quick before we go ahead and end the show.
The new stuff or the old stuff?
Anything, all the way from the beginning. He doesn't have that much.
Well, the reason he was such a big guy is because he had his hands in a lot of very popular, prosperous films. He was a producer on going back from Batman, Rain Man, Gorillas in the Mist, Caddyshack too. Who's That Girl? He was involved with Madonna in a couple of things.
Oh, really?
Witches of Eastwick, Clan of the Cave Bear.
Oh, that's how he got Nicholson.
No, he knew Nicholson back from when he almost beat him up because he yelled at his girlfriend. Yeah.
Nicholson yelled at Peter's girlfriend?
Yeah, and out of his car.
For probably good reason.
And then he chased him down and dragged him out of his car. It's all in the book, Hit and Run.
I swear you had something to do with it.
Yeah, but again, another guy, like, he knows him. He's like, oh, let's get Jack Nicholson for this. Yeah, because he's known to fuck her for 30 years. But he, Color Purple. My favorite thing. People talk in Hits and Runs. I got to read this to you real quick, and you're gonna thank me for it, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
I just got to look up the index because I lost the page. I almost marked it because that would have been smart. Legend of Billie Jean. He also produced Legend of Billie Jean.
Oh, that's right.
And one of the people was talking about how this guy's just a complete, just idiot. And it was when they were working on Legend of Billie Jean, and it's not on page 127, so it's 134 or 136. He has the quote here. Oh, damn it.
No.
It's got to be 136. Yeah, with the screenwriter was working with the Legend of Billy with him on that, um, Cohen, and here he goes. Every script was analyzed based on cock, pussy, killing, and rock and roll, and what the movie hit was the last weekend. That's the John Peters view of the movie. He would say, "What I love about Billie Jean is, she's got this pussy. She's young and she hasn't had any cock. She's probably a virgin. She's out there and this guy tries to rape her." I'm telling you, it was like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
And once I read that, I was like, "It's fucking Trump." There you go. That's it.
Grab her by
there
the pussy.
It's just,
Holy shit.
it's an entertaining book just for the John Peters bullshit. It's just fucking ridiculous. And I should get a percentage plugging it so much. But
You should.
I put an Amazon link on our Facebook page, so if you're interested in checking it out, there's a Kindle version, but you can probably get the paperback copy used cheaper. Just go to our Facebook page and check it out. But they were both great documentaries.
Oh yeah, no, I really enjoyed both of them. Probably enjoyed Jodorowsky's doing a little more. If I had to choose between the two, but both of them are really good and really well done, and they're both film-wise, like I had said at the very, very beginning of when we started the show, they're very similar in style about how they're both unmade films, famous for being unmade, and they use a lot of storyboard, they use a lot of concept art, they use a lot of, not Jodorowsky's Dune, but they actually had test footage, like the Industrial Light and Magic test footage of Nicolas Cage flying, or like a stunt double flying. Nicolas Cage wearing the costume, talking about the film. So they're both very well made, and it's very, very fascinating. Both of them.
I would love in the future to revisit this and review 2 documentaries on films that were made, and documentaries basically on how they were fucked up.
Sure. Do they have a documentary for Bonfire of the Vanities or anything like that?
There's a book, The Devil's Candy.
Okay.
I don't think they made that into a documentary, but the one that came to mind is Lost. Is what?
They should make
I
that
agree.
into a documentary.
But the one that I know that exists is Lost Soul: The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau.
Oh God, that's the one with Brando and Ron Perlman and.
I mean, it's on my list. I haven't watched it. It's been there for a long time. I've been dying to watch it. And Island of Dr. Moreau, or as Holly calls it, the Island of Dr. Zhivago.
Here, I'll recommend this to you. Mark Maron, he does a podcast called What the Fuck, or WTF.
Yeah, I used to listen to it when I had time.
Listen to the interview he does with Ron Perlman. Perlman talks a whole bunch about the Island of Dr. Moreau.
Ooh.
And it's really fucking good.
I got to go back and check. I used to cherry pick his episodes, the first people that I wanted to listen to.
Right.
I should go back and do that because he does talks a lot of people in the industry, and
he
some
does.
of them. I remember. This was years ago. I listened to the one where he talked to Mr. Geek guy. God damn it! It's getting late and too much gin. I'm losing my mind.
Mr. Geek.
The short Oliver.
Actor. Comedian.
Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Hold on, I'll get you because I follow on Twitter. God damn it. Oswald. Patton Oswalt.
Oh, Patton Oswalt. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I remember listening to the one with Patton Oswalt, and it's one of those things where he starts talking about just getting behind a woman in the grocery store on the way to the podcast, and it's all fucking comic gold. That guy is just Patton Oswalt is just on point, even when he's just like traveling to a show. I'm a huge fan of his. But yeah, I got to go back and listen to that. So Ron Perlman episode.
Ron
I will check it
Perlman,
out.
Mark Maron. It's not that old. I think it's only a few months old that the interview was done. I mean, Ron Perlman talks about the beginning of his career. From a little kid to finally starting to make it, going to like this Jewish deli restaurant, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. They go through. I think it's like an hour interview. Or 45 minutes. And he talks about the Island of Dr. Moreau, and talks about being a huge fan of Brando and his interaction with him. It's just, and he does like a Brando impersonation. It's not perfect, but you could feel it. You could visualize it. Really fucking good interview. Really good. I highly recommend that episode. I cherry picked it because sometimes I listen to podcasts other than our own when I'm in like an hour and a half fucking commute. And I was like, I'd love to hear Ron Perlman talk about stuff like Hellboy and, Kronos and things like that. Because he talks a little bit about all of that. But the Island of Dr. Moreau stuff that he talks about is really fucking good. It's really
I'm on
good.
it.
Yeah, definitely listen to that. I really enjoyed that episode of his podcast. All right, I think we're running a little late tonight. It's a long episode. We haven't done one of those in a real long time.
By the way, I rated both documentaries. I gave them both an 8.
Perfect. I'm fine with both of that. All right. As always, thank you for joining us. Episode 246, steadily approaching 250, which is a milestone for us. But episode 246 of Moviesucktastic. Go to our website at moviesucktastic.com. Download the show there. Listen to the show there. Tune in live every Thursday at 8 o'clock. You can watch it right from the website. You can go to iTunes and you can download the show or listen to it there as well. You can go to facebook.com/moviesucktastic and you can see everything from when we go live to trailers to just movie news, things we post. It goes there. You can go to Scott's Tumblr page. It's moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. You can leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. You can also leave us email. The address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. If you want, you can download the free Android app for your phone or tablet. And the mobile version of the website has been temporarily disabled because, it ain't working right. I get a lot of people complaining that when they go to our website, it loads the mobile version. It happened to me. I updated my Flash player, then it went to the regular one. But you know what? It should be telling you, hey, fuckface, you need to update your Flash player. And then you could see this.
Here's my problem. Google Chrome's been telling me to update my Flash player every day for like a month now, and I'm getting fucking sick of it.
Then you should update your Flash player.
I did. It keeps telling me again.
Well, you know what's weird about that? Flash is built into Chrome. It shouldn't be telling you to do anything.
I know, and that's why I hate to say, for some sites I go to, like our website, I've been using Edge.
Really? Since I disabled the mobile version, have you gone to it? With Chrome?
Yes, I just did, and it works fine.
And it works fine. So I don't know.
No, it doesn't.
What did it do? Did it break?
All I've got is just all the backslides. That's it. In one scroll. The website's not showing up.
The what slides?
The background slides.
Oh my god! What is happening? Yeah. I did nothing. Nothing changed.
Yeah, I blame Chrome. But if I go to moviesucktastic.com on
Edge, it works fine.
Edge. Hold on. I'll just tell you right now for our listeners who are desperate to know which web browser to use. Edge is working fine.
You know what? It's possible that you just need to update to the newest version of Chrome. But you know what?
Shouldn't it do that automatically?
It should do it automatically, and it shouldn't bother. It should fucking say, "Hey, your version of Flash is old. Update." Or
no, it says Chrome is up to date.
I don't know then.
I blame Chrome.
All I know is that the website has been working fine for the last 3 or 4 years since I redesigned it, and now in the last month or two.
By the way, not the only website I'm having problem with on Chrome recently.
Really?
I got in a whole to-do with Amazon because they removed the option to sort your wish list by price from lowest to highest. And now, in my defense, I emailed them twice, and nobody there figured it out either. They just said, well, you should do it on your phone. I'm like, you're an asshole. But then I checked my phone, and I checked Edge, and it appears fine there. For some reason, those options aren't appearing on Chrome. So I blame Chrome. Something's going on with Chrome, and they're fucking up.
Something's happening. Anyway, the music has faded out, and now we have no music. So.
Oh, goodbye.
Do you have any words of wisdom?
Satan.
Satan. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.